you wanna have fun? Fool around someone? 'Cause don't you wanna have fun?
So g'day and good morning guys, and welcome to my last video here in Nepal for this year. However, I am coming back next year. That is 100% fact. So I thought, what better way to sum up my whole trip in Nepal to do a top 10 things to do in Nepal when you're there. So you may be in Nepal for 1 week, 3 weeks, or even 45 days with the visas that they offer. So I thought, let's compile a list of the best things to do in Kathmandu, in Pokhara, in all around the country essentially. So I'm going to be going through the things that I did and also things that my friends have done that I haven't personally done, but I have footage for as well, and that I've seen you guys comment, you should do this, you should do that, and I never got a chance to do it. So I'm going to be including those things in this list as well as things that I have done myself. So you might be thinking, Jack, where are you at the moment? Well, I'm actually in the Philippines. The Philippines is the next country on this trip, on this vlog, and you might think, oh, like, it sucks he's not doing any more Nepal vlogs if you're watching from Nepal. But what I want you to know is you should still watch this series. Why, you might think? Well, the Philippines is one of 14 countries that a Nepali passport can enter visa-free, no questions asked, for 30 days. So how good's that? Obviously with a Nepali passport, it's a bit harder to go on holiday as easy, but the Philippines is a country that you can come to for extremely cheap and visa-free with no questions asked. So how good's that? So I'm going to be making a lot of content here, telling you the prices, telling you where to go, so please stick around if you're from Nepal. Anyways, so let's get straight into the video of the top 10 things to do in Nepal. So first things first, when you land in the airport, what should you do? How much should you pay for a taxi? Is there going to be taxis there when you land late at night? The answer is yes. The rough guide that you should pay for a taxi into the city centre is anywhere between 400 rupees to 900. You might be thinking, wow, that sort of sounds expensive. Well, it is. Your first taxi ride out of an airport is always going to be very expensive. Anywhere from 400 to 900 rupees is a great price. I actually paid 1,000 rupees, but I landed, I think at 1 a.m. in the morning, and I just wanted to get to my hotel. So even 1,000 rupees is about 10 Australian dollars or $7 US. So for a traveler on a holiday, it's not that too bad. But normal taxis will run you anywhere between 300 to 400 rupees in the city centre, which is about $3 to $4. Okay, so the very first thing, what do you want to do when you're in Nepal? Well, chances are you'll be staying in the Tamil area, which is the area where most tourists stay. Now, I recommend walking around here, seeing all the shops, looking at clothes. There's hippie clothes, there's hiking stuff if you need to buy any hiking stuff. There's also amazing temples around the area, the old streets. You should also try out the restaurants there and just walk around the area and get a feel for it. It's quite a lovely vibe. Just watch out for any scammers or any people, you know, acting a little bit sus and trying to take you to their art school or something like that. That's not where you want to go. You don't want to go to an art school. It's pretty much a scam. Although I will say there is some legitimate art schools there that won't try and hassle you in. So any shops that you do walk past where they're not trying to hassle you in, you should be right to go there. So the second thing you should do when you're in Nepal, especially in Kathmandu, is visit the Monkey Temple. If you want to get a experience filled with Buddhist/Hindu culture, then I recommend going to the Monkey Temple. It's only about a 20-minute drive from the city centre, and then once you get up to the very top, you can see views all over Kathmandu as it's situated on the only hill that's in the valley. So it's really, really nice place, and they also have big golden statues of Buddha and Shiva, I believe. I'm not too sure. But there's 3 massive statues that you can see as well, and it's a really nice vibe. There's also a market as well when you walk up to it, so that's a great one you should definitely check out. Number 3 is trying out the local Nepali dishes. So Nepal is famous for probably 2 dishes, I would say, are their most famous ones. Number 1 is Momo. It's sort of like a Chinese dumpling, if you will. So it's essentially like it's like a soft outer coat of a bread batter and filled in with buffalo meat, or you can get vegetarian and chicken as well. You can mix in some lovely sauces and spices, and it is to die for. I tried this on my second day of being in Nepal, and oh my gosh, was it great. By the way, everything I mention, I'll link in the description in the Google Map link, so you guys can save that and go to all of these places if you wish. The second dish you should try is, what's their famous dish called? Tully set. So the second dish you should try is their Tully set. It is amazing. It's like a mix of maybe 4 to 5 different curries with rice. So you'll get dal, you can get chicken, and like some bamboo shoots and all different like little tiny curries, and you mix it all together, and egg as well, and you mix it all together, and it's just, oh, it is amazing. And it's super healthy for you as well. It's not filled with any preservatives or anything like that. It is really, really good for you, and it's cheap. It's only about 200 to 400 rupees depending where you go, which is about $2 to $4. It's really good and a great staple in Nepal. Number 4 is going on the Everest flight. Now this is something that I didn't personally do nor have time for, but I plan to do it when I visit Nepal next year. So you can pretty much book the Everest flight online. They tell you where to go at the airport. It's $160 to book. And essentially, you fly all the way over Everest and the Himalayas, and the views are to die for. You can see all the snowy peaks, and it's only a small plane as well, so there's not that many people with you. So you sort of do get a lot of space to yourself, and you can easily film as well. So I recommend that's a great thing to do. Now that gets onto my 5th point, and that is trekking. Now, you're in the land of trekking, so you may as well trek if you can. I personally did the Poon Hill trek and Annapurna region trek, and my gosh, was that an amazing experience. I went with one of my best friends, Bobby, and we went trekking for 5 days. You can stay at different guest and tea houses along the way and eat their amazing local food that's sourced fresh from their vegetable garden and the local area, and the views in trekking is amazing. Definitely bring your camera for this one because it would be spectacular. Take as many photos as you can, and also put your gear away as well. Just enjoy the experience. It is so nice, and I recommend going in the month of September. That's when we went. It wasn't too cold, it wasn't too hot, and there wasn't that many people. So if you can, if you're booking and thinking about a big trip next year, definitely think in September. However, if you do want to go in winter when it's snowing, then look at what months it's snowing and go then, because that's also worth it too. But we didn't want to go when it was too cold and too freezing. We sort of just wanted to enjoy the best of both worlds. So definitely trekking Poon Hill is a great way, and you only need a beginner to intermediate level of fitness. However, if you're doing treks like Annapurna or Everest Base Camp, that's going to take you 7 to 10 days to do. You definitely should be thinking about your level of fitness and what trek is right for you. And there's also a lot of tour guides and places that you can book the tour with and get your trekking passes with, which I'll leave in the description. Okay, so the next thing I recommend you do is the cable cart ride in Kathmandu. Oh my gosh, is this amazing. I personally didn't do it myself, but I saw footage of my friend doing it, and it is great. If you're with a friend or even a partner, it is quite to be honest, a romantic thing to do. So I would take your partner on this and do it. There's some restaurants at the top, and you can see a lovely view of Kathmandu. And once you get to the top of the hill, you start to go through some clouds, which is absolutely magical. So I definitely recommend doing that when you're in Kathmandu. So another thing you can do when you're in Nepal is book a safari. This is an amazing experience to do. what you can do is you can book with any tour agency in Kathmandu and go on a safari in Chitwan, which is on the Nepal-Indian border, on the Nepali side obviously. And what you'll get to see there is elephants, baby elephants, rhinos, monkeys, and all sorts. And you also get to do a tour down the river in a boat as well. It is spectacular and amazing. I personally did not do this when I was there, but plan to do it next time. My friend has this footage here and it is, as you can see, a well worth thing to do. So this one would set you back $175 US, but that includes everything. All food, all transport, and all activities for 2.5 days. You cannot complain with that. So I reckon that's a must if you go to Kathmandu. And I'm sure if you shop around, you could also get other deals that are less for that as well. So just before your trek, you're most likely going to end up in Pokhara, which is another city in Nepal, which is about a 9-hour bus ride from Kathmandu. If you wish to get a luxury bus, you'll probably pay about 1,300 rupees, which is about $10 US. And if you want a local bus, you'll probably be paying about $7 to $8 US for that. But both buses are pretty extremely comfortable, to be honest, because the roads there are so bumpy, so they do have very comfortable seats and will accommodate for your needs, and they also stop along the way. So when you visit the town Pokhara, there's 3 things that you should definitely do while you're there. Number 1 is go to the lakeside and stay there if you can. I'll leave a cheap hotel in the description. It has the best views as well. It was only 17 AUD per night, which is about $12 US. But on the lakeside, there's some amazing restaurants and also a little fair as well. So if you have kids, you can go on the you can go on the Ferris wheel. So if you have little kids, you can go on the Ferris wheel, and they also have dodgem carts and rollerblading and all things of that sort. So the second thing to do in Pokhara is go up to the mountain right next to the lake. You can climb up and see amazing views of Pokhara city and also see the brand new Lord Shiva temple. And the final thing I recommend doing when you're in Pokhara is visiting the Bat Caves. This is something that I unfortunately didn't get to do, but one of my friends went and she said that it was an amazing experience. So definitely get a taxi and go out there and get that done, because that is something that's really cool. And also you get to see bats. Who doesn't want to see bats? So if you're a beginner trekker, you might be thinking, where's the best place to get my trekking boots? Because I don't want to buy them in Australia and carry them halfway across the world to get to Nepal. Well, I have a tip for you, and that tip is All Star. All Star is a franchise in Nepal that sells cheap trekking boots. Myself and my friend Bobby both got our boots from All Star, and they are the best quality. And they're only $18 US each. Trust me when I say this, you obviously want to buy good quality boots when you're going trekking, right? And you might think, these sound way too cheap. We thought so too, but they got the job done and they are really, really good. They will definitely last us another 6 treks without breaking, and the reviews on them in Nepal are through the roof. So I recommend checking that out. The link will be in the description to pick those ones up. One more thing that you should definitely do when you're in Nepal, and this might be hard for some travelers, but I recommend going outside your comfort zone and connecting with the locals. And you might think, oh, how do I do this? Like, it's very hard. Yes, it is. And you might be thinking, how do I find the right people? Well, I have a few tips that you can do that I've used when I've been traveling in countries. Number 1 is you can reach out on your Instagram, post a story and say, does anyone know anyone in this country? Which would be Nepal. That way you can link up with someone through a mutual friend, which is always the best way. Another one is you can use Tinder. I've done this myself in the past, and I know other people who just put in their Tinder bio looking to make friends. Obviously you have to be a bit more careful in this way, but it is another way you can link up with local people. Another way as well is you can link up with them through your hotel or when you go to a cafe. You could talk to the employees there, go there regularly. Maybe on the third time you go to the cafe, you say, hey, is there any local things I can do? Or do you mind showing me around the town? I can buy you a beer tonight. Going outside your comfort zone and connecting with locals is honestly the best way to experience a country. And you can also ask those lingering questions in your head that you have about the country that you just can't find on Google, and the best person to ask is a local. So I definitely recommend doing that when you're in Nepal, but also when you're in any country in general. And the final thing that I recommend that you do in Nepal, by the way, these are in no particular order, I just listed them all in a list. But the final thing I recommend you do is get a 1-hour taxi ride out to Pharping. This is a small town outside of Kathmandu city, but not too far away, so you can still get back really easily, and climb up the mountain and temple of Gorphamath. This place is amazing and has a row of thousands and thousands of Tibetan prayer flags. It is so cool to see, and being up there you can see the whole view of the town, and there's also a spot at the very top where you can sit on a rock and literally see all over. It is really, really cool. You don't even need a high fitness level. It's really easy to walk up. They have railing and stairs the whole way, and I definitely recommend making a day trip out of that and going to see that because it is amazing. I'm sure that there's plenty of other things to do in Nepal, but this is my top 10 list. So educate people below in the comments. What should they do? And what should I do when I come back? What do you want to see when I come back to Nepal? Don't forget to continue to watch this channel and support me if you can, and watch this next Philippines series. It will give you an amazing insight on how you can travel here for cheap, and obviously you can come here visa free, so you may as well stick around watching. As always guys, keep it real. Thank you so much for the support this past month, and cheers guys.